This morning, the Kremlin is downplaying expectations for a direct meeting between Vladimir Putin and Volodymyr Zelenskyy, even as Trump floats the idea of potential talks between the two leaders. In an interview on state TV, Russia's foreign minister said that any future contact must be prepared with the utmost care. So, are they ready or not? Back in May, when things got close to a potential face-to-face with Zelenskyy, he had traveled to Turkey, but Putin never showed up. The White House insists the door is open, even as Ukraine reports its largest Russian airstrike of the month following that Trump-Putin-Alaska summit.
The president has spoken to both leaders about this, and both leaders have expressed a willingness to sit down with each other. And so our national security team will help both countries do that.
Joining me now in the group chat, we've got Jerusalem Demas, editor-in-chief at The Argument, Joel Rubin, former Deputy Assistant Secretary of State in the Obama administration, Daniel Coe, former Biden Deputy and Special Assistant, and Matt Gorman, Republican strategist. You guys, thanks for joining the chat this morning. And Joel, thanks for being with us, because with your State Department experience, I'm going to want a translator. So first, when the Kremlin responds in this way, utmost care, we're taking our time, while the military offensive is happening, what do you hear?
Well, clearly the boss, Putin, wants a little more out of Donald Trump than he's gotten. And quite frankly, I don't think this should be a surprise to anybody. Look, Donald Trump, by meeting with Vladimir Putin last week, gave away the store. He gave away the political isolation that had been built for the last several years to keep Putin at bay until there was a meeting that was meaningful. But by meeting with Trump on American soil, Putin got what he needed. He got his photo op. He doesn't need any more. Now he needs to continue this war, keep the pressure on Ukraine militarily, and hope to continue to try to crack the American-European alliance. And so he's in no rush.
Matt, can you kind of respond to this a little bit? Because we've also got Trump kind of handing off this meeting to Putin and Zelenskyy, like, you guys come together and figure it out, which doesn't seem like something they would do.
Yeah, I'm bearish on the possibility of a one-on-one meeting. I think anything that was going to happen meaningful is going to have some either U.S. in the middle of it, U.S.-Europe in the middle of it. And look.
So you're bearish on it should happen, but are you bearish that it will happen?
I would say bearish on it will happen. Anything, like, I think if they're going to see a meeting at all, it's going to be some sort of a trilateral, if that. I don't see Putin and Zelenskyy coming together one-on-one without some sort of third party there. And look, let's be honest here. Like, what was the previous several years getting us? Nothing. So coming to the table.
Well, that's not true.
Yes, it is, because
it's called protecting Ukraine from getting taken over by Russia's invasion.
Oh, really? We get some more airstrikes.
And the last I checked, this was going to be resolved with a phone call.
Excuse me. Okay, you've had your time. Look, there's nothing wrong with sitting down with Putin. We talk about legitimizing Putin. The guy invaded another nation. Do we want peace or not? Whether we like it or not, we have to deal with him in order to get what we need to get done in terms of...
I think the question is, well, hold on, let me let people come in, because there are multiple ways to deal with a dictator, including increased sanctions. There are a number of paths that have not been taken, and I think one of the things people are trying to figure out is how and if the U.S. uses its leverage.
Yeah, I think we are seeing a reverence for Vladimir Putin with a red carpet. I think we need to take a step back and realize who this man is. This is a man who shot down a commercial airliner and killed 298 civilians. This is a man who called the United States a global parasite. And so my question to people is, what indication do we have that this is a president who is going to stand up for democracy, stand up for a country that was invaded, versus continuing to show reverence for a dictator who has openly mocked the United States?
But I think the thing the administration and Matt it seems to be raising here is prior administrations did not prevent Crimea from being taken, did not prevent those borders from being moved. So I want to bring in you, Jerusalem. I don't want you to be left out of this conversation. Everybody's asking the same question. Well, how do you move what has been an immovable object, which is Putin?
I think in many ways people have really high expectations of what the United States can do in a conflict like this where, you know, regardless of who's in charge, at some level, Russia has invaded another country. And Ukraine has to decide whether or not they're going to continue fighting or not. That's not a decision we can make as the United States. And for Trump, his entire position is really around wanting to find some deal to make because that is his domestic political priority. And so in terms of like really ending the war, that's something that's between Ukraine and Russia at some level. I would love for the United States to be involved in providing security guarantees, which is exactly what Zelenskyy is asking for and what the EU is asking for. for. But at the end of the day, it's really not going to happen unless Putin decides he wants to stop fighting.
Oh, also interesting moment yesterday on Fox when the president was talking just sort of lightly in the end of his conversation about what he wants out of this war in Ukraine and leaning into what people know, which is that he is trying to seek peace in multiple conflicts, including this one.
I want to try and get to heaven if possible. I'm hearing I'm not doing well. I hear I'm really at the bottom of the totem pole. But if I can get to heaven, this will be one of the reasons.
Okay, Joel, thanks so much for being here. Appreciate your time. The rest of you stay with me. We've got a lot more to cover here on CNN This Morning.